Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review the new documentary, Kubrick by Kubrick. And this is from director Gregory Monroe, and focuses on a rare and transcendent journey into the life and films of Stanley Kubrick. And to be honest, this is the first time I've actually ever heard Kubrick talk, which was a very interesting experience for me, because it definitely was not what I expected. And this kind of like mousy sounding kind of man, this reclusive figure, going through his own films and giving the kind of behind the scenes perspectives, what really happened, how he brought this about, and being honest in talking about, hey, I don't really know how I came about any of these films. What brought me here, and I arrived and I did these films and I put my life and soul into them. And this film is very deep in the way that it dives into the perspectives of Kubrick about his own work. And all these great recordings of interviews with him are fantastic. There's depth, there's so much to learn about the filmmaking process, so much to understand about who Kubrick was as a man, as a creator, as one of the most visionary directors in the history of cinema. And there's so many things I learned about his films by watching this. You have these great interviews as well with the likes of Malcolm McDowell and Jack Nicholson and Shelley Duvall and Sterling Hayden and R. Lee Ermey and so many other people that you got these perspectives from on the works of Kubrick. And Kubrick, you get so much for each of his major films. You get his very raw perspective on things, like how he thought that Fear and Desire was a piece of crap. He's just like, I was so full of myself at that time writing this, but you know, at least it had something to say. And it's just like these very frank, very unfiltered perspectives on his own work is fascinating to listen to. And then the same level of unfilteredness from those who were in his films, who worked with him. The good, the bad, and the ugly of these experiences. And you get this in just this was like an hour and 4 minutes, this version that I saw. My biggest complaint about this film drawback is like, there could have been more. It's one of those kinds of films that I 100% was sitting there being like, I want more of this when it rolled. And yeah, it has some moments that feel, you know, like conventional documentary interviews like that. But what I really appreciate about what Monroe did as a director and how he put this together, how they edited this together, utilizing actual sequences from Kubrick's films to build tension and to feel engrossing, just that moving shot through that chateau apartment at the end of Space and Time as we go towards this dark door, and just the way that it just pulls us in to the mind and the perspective of Kubrick. I did not expect the level of craftsmanship in the way that this documentary is put together for something that's like an hour and 4 minutes of mostly just listening to people talking. It's dynamic, it's engaging, it's enthralling. This film is something that really caught my attention and I really appreciated it, and I cannot just wish there was more of it. And as somebody whose second favorite director is Stanley Kubrick, this was something so fascinating and so interesting to pull that curtain back and hear from the man himself. This is 100% a must-watch for any cinephile out there, and a very fascinating documentary about the art of film and one of its greatest artists. But those are my thoughts on Kubrick by Kubrick. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.